My sister-in-law is a vile person. My husband and the rest of his family do not speak to her, or so I thought. I was having a lovely day some time ago, when a friend suddenly sent me a screenshot. It was a picture of someone on Twitter saying horrible things about my children, toddler and kindergartner. I was horrified because I don't put photos of them on social media. My friend explained that Person A, who insulted my kids, was arguing with Person B, whose header was a picture of my children. Person A assumed that they were Person B's kids and insulted them as a comeback. My friend said she wasn't sure I wasn't Person B because they had some weird things in their bio and tweet history that I would never say or believe in. I informed my husband and we freaked out, trying to figure out who Person B was and why they had a picture of our children. I then remembered that I sent that picture of my kids to my mother-in-law, and I even checked our text to make sure. Mother-in-law's been staying with us for a week, so we waited for her to come home from wherever, and then my husband explained what happened. She also seemed concerned until my husband asked if she sent that picture to anyone else. She immediately went red in the face and started avoiding eye contact and everything. She then said she sent it to my sister-in-law. In fact, she's been sending her several pictures of my children. I can't even lie. I saw red. It made a lot of sense because it sounded just like her after looking through Person B's account. Mother-in-law apologized and said she was trying to make her daughter feel less isolated, but I was so furious. I told my mother-in-law that all I'm hearing from her is utter BS, and she doesn't have to worry about her poor daughter being isolated because she can pack her crap up and go live with her. Mother-in-law immediately apologized and said she didn't think sister-in-law would save the pictures. She swore never to do it again and even deleted the images of my children off her phone. I couldn't bring myself to care. The next day while she was leaving, she said I was being too harsh. I told her to stop talking to me. My husband is entirely on board with this, but he's busy with his sister and making sure she changes her Twitter header. It did end up being her. I can't explain the amount of rage I still feel, but mother-in-law did seem very apologetic. My father-in-law, her ex-husband, even reached out to me saying that my anger was valid, but that I shouldn't kick her out because I'd left her in a very tough spot, especially since she had zero bad intentions. I'm afraid my anger is blinding me and my husband, so I'm just curious. Am I the idiot? Edit. My mother-in-law was staying with us while our apartment was fixed. Not the idiot. Of course she didn't mean harm. Give me a break. Mother-in-law messed around and found out. She can go live with her daughter. You have every right to protect your children. How much has she been sharing with the sister-in-law that you don't know about? Would she have ever admitted to it if you hadn't caught her? It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. She had bad intentions. She knew this was something you would disapprove of, so she didn't ask, and she did it anyway. Agree. She was sorry she got caught. She feels sorry for herself that she has to face the consequences. She's not sorry for what she did, or how it impacted you and your husband and children. She thinks you're being harsh by cutting contact with sister-in-law, and she's undermining your boundaries and privacy by going behind your back to keep an open communication channel that you believed closed. She tried to appeal to your sympathy about sister-in-law's feelings of isolation. That's her doubling down, that sister-in-law deserves information and communication. That's her effectively saying she'll keep doing it, or resume doing it when she thinks she can get away with it again. And feel free to tell the flying monkeys, like your father-in-law, coming at you on her behalf, to back off if they don't want to be cut off as well. The road to you know where is paved with good intentions. It doesn't matter what her intentions were. She did wrong. She's demonstrated that she cannot hold boundaries. So if you rogue sweep this, she'll do it again. She's lucky all you did was kick her out and not make the drama any worse. I'm a 50-year-old dad here, and my daughter, 22 female, has always been passionate about climate activism, which my wife, 49, and I have supported, up to a point. We believe in the cause but also in acting within the law. Well, it turns out She's taken things too far this time. She got involved in some extreme actions, targeting private jets, throwing paint and oil in the engines, and even making hoax calls about sabotage. They were recording their acts, probably for social media, but got caught by airport security, leading to her arrest along with her friends. She called us from jail, probably expecting us to bail her out or get her a lawyer, but I told her she'd have to deal with the consequences of her actions herself. After a long talk with my wife, we've decided not to intervene. She's being charged with a slew of serious crimes, including vandalism, trespassing, filing false reports, and potentially even more serious crime due to the nature of the hoax calls. These charges could lead to up to 20 years in prison. It's a hard pill to swallow, and I've gone through a range of emotions. But at the end of the day, we've always told her that if she broke the law, she'd have to face the consequences. We never imagined it would come to this, but here we are. I don't feel bad for her, as harsh as that sounds. She's an adult and made these choices, fully aware of the potential outcomes. If she ends up serving time, it is the result of her actions, and hers alone. Am I the idiot for not helping my daughter after she was arrested? Oh boy, 20 years? I know you're not looking for sympathy, but hug her mother for me. From one mom to another, I can't imagine what the two of you are going through and how hard this decision is for you. I'm very sorry you've had to make this choice. You are not the idiot. Personally, I'd have to get my child a lawyer. I wouldn't bail her out of jail, though, even if I disagree with anything she did that will land her in prison. I genuinely feel bad for everyone in this situation. If people who feel that passionate were encouraged to find solutions, instead of some encouraging this behavior, more could be accomplished. There's a girl in Louisiana who figured out how to turn broken glass into usable sand, a girl in Africa who turned old shoes into materials for buildings, and someone else who figured out how to recycle old clothes. We must encourage them to find solutions, not throw paint and oil in the engines. I can't believe she was fool enough to record herself committing these crimes. I'm shaking my head. What is wrong with people like that? You can't claim that you're not guilty when those recordings are shown in open court. She may as well plead no contest, because she ain't getting off with evidence like that. I'm sorry, OP, because it's your child, but your child showed a stunning lack of judgment and incredible stupidity. Don't get me wrong, climate change concerns me greatly, but that doesn't make it okay for activists for any cause to behave militantly, being violent, destructive, or endangering others. She belongs in jail. I am in a bind. Early in the month, I found out I'm in the running for a promotion since someone's retiring next month. Last Friday, it was confirmed if I wanted the position, it was mine. It comes with a sizable raise and a bonus. I agreed and told my wife the good news on Valentine's Day. My wife said, "Congratulations." And here's where stuff went downhill very fast. She asked if I would get a raise and stuff, and I said, yeah. This is where she asked, "So I can stop working now?" I thought she was joking, and I said, "No." Instant tone shift, and dumb me said, "Wait, you weren't joking?" This is where she accused me of always playing around. I apologized and explained I loved her, but I have no desire to be the sole earner in our marriage. If you want to reduce hours or take on a less stressful role or job, that's a conversation we can have, but I will not entertain the possibility of being the sole earner in our marriage. My wife was upset and asked why it was such a big deal, since my new position's income would be more than what we're currently making together. I explained that we could re-look at how the bills are split and stuff, but I kindly asked her to respect that I do not want to be the only person who brings in income. She asked, do I even love her? She mentioned how her other friends have husbands who let their wives stay home. I got annoyed by this question and told her that maybe she should have married one of those guys. I do know my final comment was out of line, and I did apologize for it. She would not accept it and has given me the cold shoulder since. The asking if I even love her comment did sting, and I did act like a jackass by saying what I did. This has always been something I've felt strongly towards. She was also aware of how I felt, but honestly, I don't think either of us thought either would be in a position to do so. I know I never thought I would be. She did explain the benefits of her staying home. The problem is that I enjoy meal prep, cooking, and cleaning. I listen to podcasts during that time, little moments of zen. I like the current setup where we split the chores. I don't want or need her to take on a larger load. I get her job is frustrating and stressful. That's why I said she can explore options to reduce her stress or find a less stressful job. She wants out. I get working sucks. I fully get it. But I tried to tell her what she's feeling is normal, and at the same time, adults work because we need to. This is what she told me. In this case, both of us don't need to work. Technically speaking, she is right with my new income. She would not have to work. But on the other hand, I just don't want to be the sole earner. This doesn't make me a failure or a husband or a man. She made jabs that made it feel as such. Even if we had kids, I would be against it. It was just the way I was raised. Both of my parents worked, and they shared the load across the board. Just how I feel. I don't know, maybe I am wrong, or have a dated view. I've tried everything to get her to talk to me, but I'm at a loss. Wait, you don't have kids? Then why the heck would she need to stay home? Not the idiot. Just because you're getting promoted doesn't mean she should quit. Both of you working will allow you to achieve your long-term financial goals faster, allowing you both to retire. Anyone who uses "don't you love me" or any of that BS, well, that's classic manipulation tactics. Good luck, brother. I wouldn't be surprised if OP's wife suddenly and mysteriously got fired or let go so she can use that excuse to stay home. Those wives probably have personal trainers to keep them busy. OP, you deserve better, because one day she'll hold this over your head when things aren't going well. Don't have kids with her. She's lazy. Wants you to support her. Freeload her wife. Good grief. You can save your raise and retire early. You guys need a long-term financial plan. She can't just dip out of the workforce. Look at how much you make year over year by just investing your extra money. Also, you didn't say anything mean. Marriage is a partnership. She's not partnering. She's making a huff out of not getting her way. My husband and I have an infant son, and he's been 100% formula fed since birth. I was not capable of producing breast milk, and yes, I'm one of the rare times it happens. This is due to medical issues. This is something we knew before pregnancy and came as no surprise. However, I was checked out a few times to confirm, both during pregnancy and after my pregnancy. My sister-in-law, my husband's sister, had her third child a month before I had our son. She mentioned breastfeeding a lot early in the pregnancy, and my husband spoke to her and told her it would not be possible for me. So could she please not speak about it as though I was going to be breastfeeding? Sister-in-law stopped for a while, but later in the pregnancy, made comments that I should be preparing to help milk production because my chest showed no signs of growth at all. And she said, it could mean you're not producing enough. I told her my husband's statement was still true, and I would appreciate it if she could accept it. After my son was born, she started talking about breastfeeding whenever I was around. I asked other in-laws if she spoke of it as frequently with just them, and they said no. Eventually, everyone was like, okay, I think we get it. We don't need to hear more about breastfeeding. So she would bring it up to me directly. I told my husband and he spoke to her again, and we decided to see her less, and only during certain family occasions. This incident happened Saturday at my brother-in-law's 30th birthday. Sister-in-law went straight for me and started to mention breastfeeding again and how I didn't put in the work to overcome my supply issues. She was prepared to keep going on, but I'd had enough, and I told her to shut up about breastfeeding. I told her she was speaking to the wrong audience and was not going to be able to fix my lack of supply, and to learn to accept that instead of trying to shame me for not torturing myself so that I could try. I told her to be thankful she found it easy, had no trouble, and accepted that not everyone is the same. She was angry with me for talking to her so harshly, but people were on my side. Only since then has she reached out and told me she was trying to be supportive, and my lack of emotion about it made it seem like I never really cared. And the fact is, she doesn't know why. So she was trying to advocate for the best thing for my son and her nephew, and it made me wonder if I was harsh, considering I didn't explain my background to her fully and why this was known. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Advocating for your child? What a presumptuous, insulting thing to do. It's none of her business in the first place what you decide to feed your child. She needs to learn to mind her own business. Is she a lobbyist for big breast or what? Like, why does she care so much? Your sister-in-law sounds insufferable. You don't need to discuss private medical issues with anyone. Not everyone can or wants to breastfeed, and there's no shame in that. She was TA to keep going on at you, despite being told you weren't breastfeeding, and to drop it. It's not her business. She shouldn't be interfering. You're feeding your son. He's happy and healthy. Fed is best. My brother was widowed young and had 2 girls at the time. They were 3 and 4 when their mom died. When they were 7 and 8, my brother married his second wife, and he also became a stepfather to his wife's preteen daughter. For the sake of making the post a little easier, my nieces will be Mia, teen, and Ella, young teen, and my step-niece will be Katie, same age as Ella. About once a month, I have all 3 girls for a day of fun. I live near a water park and I take my small kiddos, so taking the girls is easy, and it was a tradition that started with Mia and Ella, and later included Katie when my brother became her stepfather. That's something that still continues today. My brother has mentioned to me that he and his wife are concerned that Mia and Ella don't consider Katie their sister and really only tolerate her. This has come from comments Katie made to her mom about feeling like an only child still and feeling as though Ella and Mia don't really want her hanging out with them and that they only say yeah because they don't want to get into trouble for excluding her. My brother mentioned that Ella and Mia never fight with Katie, but they never seem to have a great time with her either. He said even when Ella and Mia are fighting, neither will go to Katie to hang out. They do their own thing or hang out with friends. And when they're together, they'll hang out, and Katie only joins if she asks them. They'll never ask her or make the effort to include her. My sister-in-law told me Ella and Katie should get along way better than they do. She told me Ella doesn't show any interest in Katie that way, though, despite them liking the same things. Both my brother and sister-in-law said they try to cultivate the individual relationships with Katie by taking Ella or Mia out someplace with her, but that doesn't seem to make Ella or Mia any closer to her. If anything, they go along with it out of obligation. My brother told me that Ella and Mia don't even notice when Katie goes home to her dad sometimes. Katie splits her time between her mom and her dad, so she'll be there for a week, and then she's with her dad for a week. He said he never really even realized how little attention they pay to Katie until recently. They did realize the closeness wasn't there, but the level at which they really don't notice her is alarming. He then told me I needed to help them out more with this. His request confused me because I already take all 3 for a fun day out once a month, and I've babysat for them on occasion. I don't know what he expects from me when I have my own kids. I told him that. I asked him what exactly he expected me to do, and he told me I should know what he expects, and I should be a little more willing to help so Katie doesn't feel like she's on her own. He told me I was intentionally being obtuse. It became more tense than I expected, and it made me wonder, am I the idiot for asking him that? Not the idiot. He's upset that you asked because he doesn't know himself either. There's nothing you can do, nor do you have any obligation to do anything about this. This is something your brother and his wife have to work towards. It in no way is your issue. This is not a concern you have to work on. He didn't answer because he can't. He got defensive because he wanted to make this someone else's problem and deflect responsibility. You should help us out more? How? You should know how. You're not in the wrong, Hiroki. He's expecting you to know what he expects. Does he want you to take them to therapy instead of the water park? 'Cause therapy could help the situation. You're literally asking him directly because you can't read his mind. You definitely don't assume to know his thoughts, and that's why you ask. Please speak to your nieces and ask them how they feel.